Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I know there's not many of you that subscribe to my channel at the moment, but you know, one day I'll probably have a lot more. But I just wanted to show you what I'm doing at the moment. I've just painted my naked C3PO helmet in silver, and you know, it's not perfect. Like, I just kind of wanted to get some color on it because it was white and I didn't like looking at it. So I've done that. I'm now gonna just wait for the rain to stop, and I'm gonna ride my bike up to buy some stuff so that I can start styling this. But in the meantime, I started working on my torso, and I've also started working on the forearms for the naked C3PO. So I have made mock-ups of these before, and that's why I was able to just cut these out, and I've just used the heat gun to form them a little bit, and so they just fit nicely around my arms. I'm still trying to work out how I'm going to put this costume together, because a normal 3PO costume is your body is fully enclosed, but with this costume it's predominantly wiring. So I'm thinking I'm going to make use like a black morph suit and just cover it all with wires and paint on some wires and you know, all that cool stuff. And then I'm thinking that panels like this can just be attached with Velcro. So if I just put a Velcro strip down my morph suit, and then these pieces can just stick on. And the next thing that I'm working on is up here. On naked C3PO, he has a hinge on the elbow, which looks very much, very much like this. If you can see that very well. Whoops. So there's a lot of these valve, or you know, like these data port things that are on the back of C3PO's head, in the center of his belly disc, and also they show up on hinges of the elbow. And I think there's somewhere else where I saw one of them, but for now I'm just working out how I'm going to build these, because I don't want to get anything 3D printed. I just want to make everything myself. And so what I did with oh no, not that one. Oh yes, this is the other spot where they show up. So on the helmet, they're actually the same as this on the movie puppet, but I just made my own, and so they look good enough because they're just a bit of detail. So I'm basically going to replicate those, but with these weird PVC discs that I found. And so basically, with these and some little conduit plugs, I can just glue in some detail and then just add some PVC strips in there to create the same pattern as the data port, which is fine as far as I'm concerned. I might even just like have these little plugs. They're just like an end cap type thing. So I might just even have them open so that they just give a bit more detail. But yeah, that's gonna just be attached to the forearm piece. So I'm dropping everything today. But yeah, that's gonna go on like that. It's just gonna be attached with like a piece of PVC. And I'm thinking that this whole section can just be Velcroed onto my bodysuit. And then there will be one more section, which I may even have articulated off this part, which will stick on up here. And I've got these other plastic cap things, which I will add details to, and then also add like kind of like the bone, which will then also be attached to my bodysuit. However I managed to do that, I don't know. But that's basically the plan for the arms. For the neck, I have these trim pieces for some PVC downpipes. And I just eyeballed them and I thought, I think that I'm skinnier than I am. And then when I cut a piece off and tried to put it around my neck, although it does fit, it's a little bit too snug, and they need to be these basically were, I was planning to use these like that to go around my neck. And then I was gonna split them like horizontally, so that it would be a half on the front and half on the back. But now that I've realized that they're slightly too small a diameter, that's not really going to work. So I'm probably going to have to completely rebuild these out of just flat PVC, which means cutting, and I hate cutting stuff. I hate cutting circles. That's the biggest issue for me. So that's my challenge for today, is to sort this out. And I thought that was going to be a nice easy thing for me to do, but obviously not. So I've got a few things to do. Also, you can see in the background here, this is actually what I templated the torso frame out of. I'll give you a closer look just so you can see. So I've got a mannequin which I intended originally to cover in monster clay and model all this stuff, and I thought I was going to cast all of this in resin. But casting, resin, monster clay, all very, very expensive. So I basically mocked this up with cardboard to try and create the three-dimensional sort of definition I'm going to need, because my body is going to be underneath, and this needs to be obviously slightly enlarged to create that sort of hollow see-through, even though he's not actually see-through. I want this to look more three-dimensional rather than just being flat. So these pieces all have to be extended beyond the line of where my skin is, so that I've got room to attach wiring. So there's actually a lot of wires that will be attached here. There's like a box, like a junction box here with a bunch of wires coming out, and then there's all the wires that come from the head. So if we just put, just to see how it looks, well, that's not perfect, but it'll look something like that. And you can see just by putting it together how much it already is really starting to look like naked C3PO. So that's all basically what I'm going to, hang on, I'm going to just put that there. That's what I'm going to work on today. So the good thing about this is this frame that I've made, I can basically use as a template and just cut it straight out of the PVC. So I don't know if some of you don't know what PVC foam board is. They call it foam, but it's not foam like you would expect. It's like a compressed plastic. It does have some air in between. So it's like, if you imagine like an EVA foam that's being compressed down with heat. So then this is still kind of slightly flexible and pliable. It probably takes about 2 passes of a razor to cut through. It has some softness to it, but for those of you who don't know what it is, it's just a sheet of this fairly weighty plastic, but it's softer than styrene and softer than PVC parts like this. So these are very, very dense, 100% density, whereas this is probably like 50% density, and it's slightly aerated, which is why they call it foam board. But it's very, very stiff. So it's going to be perfect because it has just the right thickness to create this body piece that I want to build. And I think it will look really, really good, and it will hold up. It's stiff enough and rigid enough that it will hold up these pieces without having too much flex, and it won't break. And if I do need extra strength, I can always just bolster it with some pieces on behind. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do today. Got a bit to do, but yeah, like it should be fairly straightforward and fairly quick. The front half of the torso will be really easy to build, but the back half is essentially a lot more solid. So I have to build basically like a box on the back, and it has to be all sort of conforming up a bit like the actual 3PO torso. If most of you would probably know who C3PO is, but here's just an idea. So basically the naked version of this, it's almost the same on the back, but if you imagine what this would look like underneath, it doesn't look like the front side. It's not framed out like the front. It's actually very similar to this. So it's kind of like that frame attached to this back, if that's a good way to explain it. So I still have to build it so that it's like got a split down the side. The shoulder rings that I've got here already, they will be attached similar to the way they are attached on the actual 3PO costume. And yeah, there's a few little engineering things that I've got to work out, but most of that I sort of have an idea of what I'm going to do. So in the meantime, that's what I'm going to do today. And yeah, and I'll keep sharing videos with you as I have more to show. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and stay tuned, and I'll be seeing you all soon. See ya.